The price of success is the amount of endurance you can have during failure. When you're $1 million in the hole, let me tell you, life is scary. Life is really scary. Your self-worth, your belief in yourself, your ambition, you start to go inwards instead of going outwards for help. The price we pay to be at the top of our game is this. It's this. This is what you don't see when most people hit a stage and they give their TEDx talk about borrowing money, being broke. They don't talk about the trauma, the therapy. They don't talk about the fears. They don't. It's just not glorified. What's glorified is the cars, the houses, hot wife, beautiful husband, right? Perfect little kids, gorgeous kitchen, all the high-end Wolf appliances. But people don't talk about, people rock their flashy Rolexes, but they ate crud for years, because the truth is, business is the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's the most challenging thing you'll ever do. It's also the most rewarding thing for those who don't give up. For those of you who can stay in the game long enough, to keep your focus long enough, to keep eye on the prize, to persevere through the pain. For those of you who are willing to do that, you stop chasing everything. You stop trying to learn everything. You get down in the trenches and you work your face off. The universe and God will open doors that you don't know exist. The question is are you gonna stick in it long enough? Welcome back to this episode of the Vikram Deol Show. I am your host, Vikram Deol. And today I wanna talk about the brutal price of success. And here's the thing that most entrepreneurs glorify, right? They don't glorify the journey, the pathway, the pain, the sacrifices, the lost relationships, the embarrassment, the ups, the downs, the good months, the bad months, the brokenness, the lost relationships, the lost sleep, the days of despair, the feelings of, should I throw in the towel? Moms calling, hey son, are you okay? Hey honey, are you okay? Are you sure this entrepreneur thing is working? Employees, team members, losing trust in you, losing faith in you, losing passion where they once looked at you with an admiration, and now they look at you with, did I follow the wrong person? The hiring, the firing, the training, the lack of training. Nobody talks about the truth behind entrepreneurship. And the reason why most of us don't make it is because we're too busy focused studying the Instagram highlight reels that we actually don't look at what the person in front of us has gone through to get to where they're at. We don't know about the late nights, right? We hear the Nike commercial where Michael Phelps says, you win when it's in the dark. And it sounds great on a billboard. But when you're in the trenches every single day, day in, day out, it's overwhelming. It's depressing. It's scary. It's just downright like the worst feeling that you can have in the world. When you don't know how to make payroll the next month, or you don't know how to pay for your CRM, or you don't know how you're going to pay for your leads. You don't know how you're going to pay your team. You don't know how you're paying yourself. Your child wants a new set of braces and you're like, that's $2,000. Where does this money come from? Well, that's the price you pay to be successful, right? The price we pay to be at the top of our game is this. It's this. This is what you don't see when most people hit a stage and they give their TEDx talk about borrowing money, being broke. They don't talk about the trauma, the therapy. They don't talk about the fears. They don't. It's just not glorified. What's glorified is the cars, the houses, hot wife, beautiful husband, right? Perfect little kids, gorgeous kitchen, all the high-end Wolf appliances. But people don't talk about, people rock their flashy Rolexes, but they ate crud for years. I got a text message a few days ago from somebody who said, Vikram, I wish I would have joined you when we met a year and a half ago. And I said, obviously that's the start of somebody reaching out for some sympathy or empathy, somebody reaching out because they're at a point in their life where things are vastly different. And I said, hey, what's going on? Right? Just what's up? How's everything going? Like, what do you mean? And this person said, the last 2 years have gotten significantly worse, like you told me they would. My sales went from 24 in 2021 to 18 in 2022 to 12 in 2023 to 8 in 2024. And this year, it's the middle of February, I'm at 0 deals. My pipeline dried up. My business non-existent. My husband is fighting and yelling at me. We've been at each other's throats for years. You need to get a job. You need to get a job. You need to contribute to the household. We don't make enough money on a single household income to support our lifestyle because you went from making $350,000 to last year you brought in just around 100. What do I do? Do I quit and get a job or do I stay in the trenches? Well, I can tell you 2008, like so many people, I was in the trenches and I was almost flat broke. Pulled myself out of that. We had cell phone stores, somehow pulled myself out of it. Got married, moved to a new city, and it's 2009, 2010, moved to Seattle, just finished my MBA because my ex-wife is an attorney and she's like, no, I can't take you to a dinner party and you are only a college degree and I'm an attorney. I was like, what? I don't even know what that means, but I'll get an MBA, whatever, big deal. Get an MBA, move to Seattle. It's 2009, 2010. Nobody's hiring me. I have no real world life experience. I had a ton of sales experience. I had a ton of management experience. I didn't have actual real world experience. I finally get an entry-level job offer. An entry-level job offer. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've had at that point, I had very few years where I wasn't making decent money, right? Like 2008, I was broke, but I was still bringing in good income. It was going to the business. We had a cell phone store. I had 2 cell phone stores, and I remember we made like a 40,000, 30,000. It's like 15 Blackberries. So 15 Blackberries. Each Blackberry was about $1,000 that out of my pocket. And then I received only for the $15,000 in Blackberries. I'm trying to think of the math. I got like $6,000, right? Because you take a loss on yourself. For those of you who don't know, the manufacturer isn't selling the cell phone that you have in your pocket back in the day for $400. The company was subsidizing the franchise owners. So we would get like $1,000 commission for the 2-year contract. But if they canceled at anything before 181 days, right? If they canceled anything before 181 days, Verizon would take the money from Cellufone, Verifone, whatever the name of the company was, and they would charge us back. So I had $9,000 out. I gave the dude like, I don't know, $1,000 of cases and chargers and SIM cards and, whatever they were doing back in 2010. And the POS on the 180th day canceled his contract with Verizon. And not only did they take my $9,000 I'm never going to see again, I can't get the cell phones. Those are gone. So I can't even try to recover the 15 phones because like, who's going to track this guy down? Verizon pulled the $25,000 commission that we got paid. Is a huge deal. It's like a $20,000 commission. So on that deal, all in, I was going to make $6,000 from the sale of the phone, $5,000 from the sale, and $5,000 in the commission. It was around $10,000. We were living day to day. I was actually living. You can, if you find them pictures, there's a. I don't know if it's still a Verizon store. No, it's not a Verizon store, but it was off of Avenue J and 20th in Lancaster, and I believe it was by a Tom's restaurant. Right? The Home Depot's across the street. I was living in the office, right? Because I didn't want to spend the $800 a month on a nice apartment. So I was like, I can live in the office. I can shower at the gym. It'll get me skinny. I'm getting married. I'm kind of fat. I'm kind of fat in the belly, skinny in the arms. So I can redistribute my weight, get in shape, look good for the photos. And I lived in the back of my cell phone store. And I remember getting the commission statement that month, and we had a relatively good month. It should have been about another $20,000 to $25,000 a month. And with the sale of the phones, the accessories, it should have been about a, profit month. It should have been around $30,000. Good month, right? Instead, I owed the company $10,000. Like, imagine you worked for 2 months straight. You serviced the guy's calling you cell phone problems. You're like, yeah, bro, I got you. I'll take care of you. No big deal. Running out to his office, taking care of his people. His office was closed. It was a scam. Office shut down. You try to track the phone down and Verizon's like, oh, they've been transferred from one account to the other account to the other account. We don't even know where, like literally, like, we don't even know where they're at anymore. We can't give you the information. They're not on the account that you have the access to. And I was like, okay, go drive to the guy's house, office, shut down. So I owe Verizon like $10,000, or not Verizon, but the third party distributor. Oh, and I'm getting married in about 4 months. And so the money that I had saved, a couple bucks, nothing great. And every month we're spending anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 on inventory to hope and pray that these people make their payments for 182 days so that you don't get a chargeback. So then the ex-wife calls, hey, how's your day? I'm like, oh yeah, it's good. You don't want to, I don't want to share financial problems with her. She's like, what's wrong? No, nothing. I'm fine. I'm just really busy at work. I got a big project at school. My school is 2 hours a drive. I lived in Lancaster. School is in Bakersfield. So I used to drive that commute late mornings, early nights, to go to class. I had cameras with audio so I could hear what the people were saying in my office. During a final one day, I was like, there was a big deal. I think we had 2 families signing up, both on a 5-line package or a 3-line. So both my sales guys were having problems. I'm in the middle of a final. So I told Mr. Stark, I was like, hey, Professor Stark, like, I'm going to sit outside for about half an hour and I'm going to make some money because like, I know we're in class and I know we're literally in the middle of a final. I know I have the exam. First off, I'm not going to be an A student. Like I'm never going to get an A in your class. Second, it really doesn't matter because like, if I can't pay my bills, then I'm not going to be here next quarter anyways. And he's like, Vic, go. He's like, you're always on your phone. I get it. You have your businesses. You're trying to do what you need to do. And so we close those deals, but she's like, what's wrong? Right. And nothing. How do you tell somebody you're about to marry that you have no money? Like, and she's working for one of the largest financial institutions at the time. She was working as a contractor for BlackRock, one of the biggest companies in the world. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking struggling. Her father's a multimillionaire. And I'm like, yeah, I just, don't even know how I'm going to buy lunch tomorrow. Fast forward, get into real estate. Same things happen, you guys. We buy a rental property, right? Or we buy a flip. And when we see the flip, before we go to the foreclosure steps, it has the washer, the dryer, the air, the stove, right? All the ovens, everything, all the appliances are there. We buy the house. By the time we got to the house to secure it that night, people went in and stole all the appliances, right? So that's $5,000 worth of stuff that we were expecting to have. That house, same house, was on a well. We never bought a home with a well. How do we know? It's an equestrian property. We get the house remodeled. We do everything. We get to closing and they have to do a city inspection of the well. The city inspector says, where's the tank? We said, oh, I don't know. He's like, well, what do you mean you don't? I don't know, bro. Like, we've never bought a house with a well. He just starts laughing. He's like, oh, you guys are investors, aren't you? It's just like, it was a original septic tank made out of concrete that nobody had ever replaced from 1950. So essentially the septic tank had disintegrated into the ground. So all of the debris for God knows how long was just falling under this tree. And I used to always tell my ex and my business partner, I'm like, man, I just don't understand why there's this huge puddle of water by this tree all the time. It's like everything else is dry, but right by this one tree, there's always just a tremendous amount of water. It's like the ground and it's on a hill. I'm like, so you would think that there would be no, like it would soak the water up better. Well, that's where the septic tank used to be, right? So we're at closing. We have no money left. We own another property that's a disaster. We thought this one was going to sell and we were going to make $80,000 on it. He was going to take 40. I was going to take 40. That's a good couple of months of work. Well, what happened is we had to do a septic tank, but because there was also a well on the property and it was an equestrian property and they bought it because of the equestrian usage, we had to take the septic system and put it at the end of the property, which means they had a trench. They had to pull up the whole horse property. They had to do it enough feet away from the pasture and enough feet away from the well and all this stuff. Ended up being a $25,000 project, which we didn't have the money for. Do you see how like the success that people look to have comes with a lot of failure? To top it off, we took out a special kind of like hard money loan with a first mortgage and a second mortgage and a this and a that. And my ex-wife, who was supposed to be the one in charge of the money, and I was going to be the one running the operations, my business partner was just a financial capital that we got good deals on certain things from. Well, She forgot that we took out these special loans. So at closing day, instead of getting a check for $25,000, we got a check for $5,000. So we went from 80 to 40, 35 to 5. And I said, there's something wrong here. Something doesn't make sense. And I kept asking her, hey, check the paperwork. We were doing 2 other properties at the time. So I was like, morning to night contractor Vic and my Dodge Ram, red Dodge Ram, driving all over Home Depots, all over the city of Seattle. And each day is like 75 miles of driving from one part to the other part to Home Depot to back. And it's just is wild, right? 100 miles a day. And we finally 6 months later get a call because I kept calling the person we lent the money from. And I said, bro, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. I'm telling you, he's like, Vic, I swear to God, you're right. But like our accounting and our accountants can't find anything. Fast forward, what happened? 6 months, 7, 8 months later, we figure it out. We find the money. We do what we need to do. 6 months later, he's like, hey, Vic, you were right. We had an extra $25,000 or $30,000 that we couldn't account for. And finally, after a few days of like the accountant saying like, there's just no reason there's this extra money. It just doesn't add up. He goes, I knew that it was your money. He goes, and I remembered exactly what we did. And I got a check for $30,000, $25,000. Ex-wife wanted to keep it all and not give it to our partner. And I was like, yo, that's some effed up stuff. I'm not doing that. I don't care if he's family's the richest family or the poorest family. We are not stealing money from people. She's like, no, it's not a big deal. You did all the work. And I said, that wasn't our agreement. So we gave him the money, right? Split the money half and half. Crazy stuff. I had an assistant steal like $20,000 from us. I fired one assistant, hired a new assistant. The one that I fired, the sweetest human in the world, the one that I hired, right? Because she was supposed to take our business to the next level, stole from me. She stole our closing gifts. She was stealing the champagne. She was showing up late. She was showing up on like pills. She was showing up half the time hungover. After 2 months of working with me, she left and joined my competitor who I was doing a deal with, who didn't even know who she was until the deal. And then he had the gall to call me 60 days later and say, hey, you know that chick, Caitlin? I'm like, yeah, what about Caitlin? He goes, well, she's not really working or showing up to anything. Do you have a second to talk? And I'm like, you have the nerve to call me after we were doing a deal together and you were secretly courting her out. Like, yeah, I wish you could make this up. And he's like, well, yeah, Randy Brazen. I'll throw his name under the bus because he's a douche. The guy's a douche, right? Super douche. Or maybe it was his husband. I don't know. One of them's name was Randy. Super douche. Like, dude, seriously? You're going to call after you? Are you for reals right now? He's like, it's just business, Vic. I'm like, exactly. It's just business. So you can handle your business the way you do. We're done. We are done. Like, sayonara, peace out, homie. Shut down the real estate company in 2018. I thought I'd go right into coaching, self-development, change the world. And what I didn't realize was that who I thought I was and who I was showing up was completely different. And I thought I was broke in 2008 when I owed like $50,000 or $80,000. 2021, went into business with my dad. We had an osteo strong, got into business 2019. What was supposed to be $100,000 ended up being close to $450,000 in build out. What was supposed to be 3 months ended up being 6.5 months. Our contractor stole the money, ran off. All of the money that we paid him, took the money, ran off, right? Then I had to become the contractor, right? Because we didn't have the money at that point to get the contractor. So I started hiring as subs. So luckily I was in good relationship with some of the people that had started doing the work. And from there, I built my team and I was like, hey, who does this? Hey, who does that? Hey, where do I go for here? Hey, where do I go from there? Then when I would go to those stores, I'd say, hey, who's the people that are you guys using that are coming in all the time, buying drywall, Started calling them. Hey, do you guys know some people? Then when you're at the stores, right? You're at these nicer stores, you start seeing the people in trucks. Hey, do you have time to do some of this stuff on the side? Hey, do you have some time to do some of this stuff on the side? Do you have time to do some of this stuff on the side? Yes, yes, yes. The price of success is the amount of endurance you can have during failure, right? When you're $1 million in the hole and your mom is telling you to go get a job and you've never had a job before and you're $1 million in the hole, let me tell you, life is scary. Life is really scary. Your self-worth, your belief in yourself, your ambition, your all the things that like everybody said to you, oh, you're this type of person. Like we see so much in you. We see all this greatness in you. And I said, yeah, you saw it. It's gone now. Has been embarrassed to go to events, embarrassed to go to around your friends that you used to hang out with, right? Embarrassed to go out to dinner, embarrassed to pull your credit card out because you don't know if it's going to work or not. And you start to go inwards instead of going outwards for help because your real friends want to help you. They want to see you back on top. Your fake friends, right? They want you to pull your card out so that they don't have to. Your real friends are like, dude, don't worry about it. Your fake friends are like, yo, you should pay for everything. Your real friends come over whenever you call. Your fake friends only want to hang out at nice restaurants. Let me tell you, there was a lot of dark nights, a lot of dark moments, a lot of fear. And if you don't, right, if you don't think that every entrepreneur at some point in their life goes through tough times, you are mistaken. Because the truth is, business is the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's the most challenging thing you'll ever do. It's also the most rewarding thing for those who don't give up. For those of you who can stay in the game long enough, to keep your focus long enough, to keep eye on the prize, to persevere through the pain. For those of you who are willing to do that and suffer through the laughter of your family and your friends at dinners, because let me tell you, there's been plenty of that too. Plenty of moments where you just don't want to go to Thanksgiving. Honey, are you coming home for Thanksgiving this year? No, Mom, I'm good. Why? Nah, I just got a bunch of things going on. No, you just don't want to be laughed at for another season. But if you persevere and you focus and you look at what you're doing and you stop chasing everything, you stop trying to learn everything, you get down in the trenches and you work your face off, the universe and God will open doors that you don't know exist. The question is are you going to stick in it long enough? Are you going to get around the right people, the right groups, the right rooms so that you can have that perseverance? Because most people give up too soon. They focus on too many of the wrong things. They spend all of their money trying to look good instead of being good. They don't know what they're doing. They don't want to ask for help. The dumbest words in entrepreneurship is I'll figure it out myself, because you don't and you won't. The reason why entrepreneurs have such a high failure rate is because we think we know what we don't. Now, we don't even know the things we don't know yet, which is why you need to be in the right rooms at all times. So if you are struggling, if you feel like you're going through a time where it's just dark and darker and darker and darker and darker, like that woman who sent me that message the other day, I don't know what to do. It's super simple. You got to be in the right rooms, right? You got to have the right programs. And if you're in real estate and you're in sales, you are being taught the wrong thing. It's not your fault, actually. Most of you are failing. It's not your fault. Most of you guys aren't doing as well as you did in 2020 and 21 and 22. The reason why is because you weren't taught how to actually help people. You were taught how to qualify people. You were taught how to take a momentum-based market and capitalize a little bit on it. But if you were doing as well as other agents, my friends were doing hundreds and thousands of transactions during 2020 and 2021, and other agents were in the 20s and 30s. What's the difference? They were focused on their skills. All of my friends who did super well, right? Exceptionally well, exceptional skills. And so we have a step-by-step process that I've crafted over the last 20 years of being an entrepreneur, being in sales, being up and being down. I've created a step-by-step process to help you so that you don't have to go out there and try to create your own wheel. You don't have to try to figure it out, because the likelihood of you figuring it out before your money runs dry, it's a real risk you run. And so if you want to learn what we are doing to help our clients win in this market, have the skills, have the confidence, get their life back, right? Just message below and our team will reach out to you. We'll get you the information. We'll help you out. We'll make sure that you don't become one of those people that everybody talks about because you didn't do what you needed to do. If you want, you can text me the word Triz at 239-323-2967, 239-323-2967. Just text me the word Triz. My team and I We'll get back to you and we'll see if there's something that we can do to help you get to where you want to go. In the meantime, go out there and never give up.